This is Eric Sloof and I'm at the VMworld Solutions Exchange. I'm joined by Brian Graf. Brian, how are you?
I'm good, thanks Eric.
Great. So, recently we had a new release of PowerCLI. Can you explain what PowerCLI is?
Yeah, so PowerCLI is an administration tool that we have for the virtual environment. And what that allows us to do is we can leverage PowerShell along with PowerCLI to get a deeper look into what's in our environment. We can bring back objects that are in the environment and do administrative tasks like you could with PowerShell with a regular server.
So what VMware did is that they created over 300 commandlets, and those commandlets are shootable within PowerShell and can automate and measure and steer your whole virtual environment.
For the most part, yeah. So, for example, a lot of people use this to bring back reporting features. They'll get virtual machines, they can set certain features within the virtual machine, as well as settings about the actual VM itself. So increasing resources, adding disks. We can do a lot of different things with it that weren't possible in the past.
Right, so, but if you have written all those scripts, you have a share somewhere and it's just a bunch of scripts, and I think you have to there must be a trick to make it easier to run those scripts, and what VMware did is that they launched a new way to integrate them into in the web client.
Yeah, so we have a new Fling that's out as of about a month ago, and this allows us to actually run PowerCLI from the web client itself. So no longer do we need to actually have users have individual Windows machines, which is something that we've had a problem with in the past, where a lot of users have complained if they're Linux users, if they're Mac users, that they have to RDP to a Windows machine to actually run PowerCLI. And now we have the ability to integrate PowerCLI with using this Fling with the web client. And they can log into the web client like you would for any other administrative task and run scripts from there.
So what you're telling is that VMware has released a Fling, and it's like a free utility with some support but not official, and it can be downloaded from labs.vmware.com, and this Fling can be used as a service within vCenter to make it possible to run PowerShell scripts from your vCenter server.
Yeah, exactly, and so one of the great features, and we can get into it here shortly, is we have the ability to save scripts. So not only do I have to, right now, go find a script that I want to run, but if I want to share that with another person, it's usually a pain to share either through an email attachment or give them the GitHub address, right? So now we have the ability to create a repository, and we can actually run scripts for ourselves, or we can put them in a shared repository for other vSphere users.
Sounds too cool to be true. Can you give us a demo?
Sure, I definitely can. All right, so all you have to do is once you log in, once Power Actions is installed, we'll receive two new menu items on the left-hand side of vCenter. And we'll get there here in just a moment. One of those will allow us to run the actual PowerCLI session, which we'll click on right here.
So I see a console and I see a link for scripts. Correct. And you can run the console from within the client.
Yeah, so what this will do is this will actually call remote, or it'll do remote commands to another machine that's set up with Power Actions. And as you can see here, we have the entire session. So we can put in a command here at the bottom of the screen, like a get VM, and it will return our results on the top of the screen. We can run multiple different kinds of scripts here, and like I said before, it allows us to it allows non-Windows users to run things they couldn't in the past.
Right, so it becomes far easier. Can you also feed an object that is selected in a web client to a script?
Yes, and that's one of the great features, is we have the ability now as we create scripts that we can go in and actually assign them a parameter. And so as you go into your vSphere web client, if you right click an object, you will be able to see, I'll actually jump there right now. We can right click on an object and there's a new PowerCLI tab, which allows us to either execute a script or create a script on that object. And if we have a script in a library already, then we can right click and run that script off of whatever object is selected. So for example, the get VM script, if we right click on a specific data center, if it's set up in the script that way, it'll only bring back VMs that are in that virtual data center.
So what do you do when you have created a script?
So we can actually create the script in one of two ways. We either can create an action or a report. If we do a reporting feature and we share this as a shared script, then other admins can actually run all these same reports and we don't have to share the actual code with everybody else. They can just click on an object and run the report. If we use it as an action, then we can go in and specify where this is run and when this is run, and you can separate your scripts by their purpose.
Okay, Brian, many thanks for the demo. If you want this tool, go to labs.vmware.com, and the fling is called Power Actions.
Yeah.